Oh, hello there. Welcome to the Life Burst Podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about all sorts of Wecross things. And today, boy howdy, we got some good Wecross stuff to talk about.
Boy howdy.
Boy howdy. I also found that every time I'm doing this opening, I'm making the oh, hello there longer. This is going to be like a yodel by the end of it. Oh, howdy there.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. Today's topic is...
Well, hold on. How's your Wecross week? My voice cracked there. I was very passionate about it.
Wow, you're so into this today.
How's your Wecross week? Let me know.
It was good. We went to a local yesterday, and it was like, you know, your typical like Wecross tournament thing. It wasn't like a party. It was just like a weekly or whatever. And we had a couple friends meet up with us that were also going to be participating in the ceremony. So we did the tournament and then we stayed after a little bit to play test a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, using the gauntlet that we
have, so that they could try out different stuff too. And it was a lot of fun. I really liked it.
Yeah.
Came in third.
Yeah,
You know, whatever.
Came in second.
Yeah.
And came in second with Dr. Tamago, Eggy Sensei, my new freezy build that you can plug. You can watch on the sample deck lists. And you used what?
I used a variation of card Jockey.
Yeah.
There'll be things that I'll be changing later about it.
Yeah. So we are we're prepping for our April tournament coming up, our April ceremony.
Yep, that's going to be April 9th.
And we are sort of in stage 2 testing now, where we did stage 1. We tested just basically every deck in the meta just to get a good feel for
Kind of where we want to go.
Yeah, and then now we're sort of narrowing down our deck choices. Still very much like we don't really know what we're playing. It's changing per day. You know,
It's changing diva per day.
Yeah. We're waking up in the middle of the night and go like, but what if we do this?
That is so true. Yeah, it's such a shame. I actually forgot my little notebook for yesterday, so I just have blacked out all the games that I played.
Gotta remember your games, man. We played a lot of games.
Let me know if that happens to you guys. Do some of you get that like competitive edge where, you know, you're playing a game or whatever, and then all of a sudden you black out, you don't realize what happened until you like see a replay of it, and you're like, oh yeah.
And your opponent's on the floor bleeding, and you're like, what did I do?
Whoa, wait, hold on. What kind of games are you playing?
Hey, speaking about fun games.
Yeah.
Want to do another Crack-a-Pack? It seemed like people liked it last time, so.
Yeah, I thought it was fun.
Just to be clear for anyone who's listening and following the canon Crack-a-Pack weeklies, Tiffany was a very clear winner last week.
Yeah, with my shiny Erebus.
Yeah, apparently my Parajulius did not go.
Womp
Did
womp.
not make it.
All right, so we have 2 packs of Changing Diva that we are going to be cracking open. Which one do you want?
I want this one.
All right.
It's the one that's facing me.
Oh, okay.
You want to put some crinkles in there? That's good. All right.
Hold on. How about some nail taps too?
Oh, that's good.
All right.
All right, let's go.
I'm so
let's
sorry
go.
if that's not your thing.
Hey, remember when we open it, we got to say open, remember?
Okay.
You know ready?
1, 2, 3.
Open!
Oh, that was not very good.
Oh, I had the best one. Look at that.
Damn, right down the side.
I know. It was a good one.
All right.
I gotta say, I enjoy opening these packs more than I enjoy opening Magic packs. Like the way that they've got the extra tabby.
Yes, I agree. It's much, but you can't pop these.
That's true.
Is the thing.
You're right. Okay, so it's last 4 is what we're looking at.
All right, hold on. 1, 2, 3. All right. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, you got last 4.
Yeah, I got him.
All right. Okay, so I got DJ Lovett first verse as my
Cute.
my L-Rig deck.
Just a regular one.
Yeah. Level 1.
All right.
And then, I got an MC Lion Disrespect.
Nice.
I love the disrespect on the MC Lion. And then, this is a great L-Rig, right?
Yeah, it's a good
We've
assist.
playtested this a lot at this point. It's very good.
Yeah, we like that one.
All right, we've got Heterophony, and Weird Spell that I don't know if it'll ever see play, but
Probably not.
it's got my girl bang on it. Ooh, what about a foil MC Lion Dig?
Ooh, that's fun.
I know.
Yeah, we like that. All right.
It's a pretty good one.
So I got a Musica Power Move, just a regular one, but very colorful. Akino Bound for Valor, another regular rig. A Shade of Bravery. Womp.
Yeah, that's what I feel.
White spell, whatever. And then, Cassiopeia.
So you got a secret rare.
Yes, I got a secret rare. So y'all let us know in the comment section down below who got the better pack. Will it be the shiny Dig or will it be the secret rare Cassiopeia?
I also got like basically the entire good assist line of MC line here. I got Dig and Disrespect in one pack.
That's true.
I'm like set up for some Love It action.
What else did you get? I got a Mensa, a Con Aqua, a Cersei, and a Nyx.
Let's see. I got a Todororisa, a Bronze, a Stove.
You mean a stove?
And a Kapapaya.
All right. So let us know in the comment section down below who got the better pack and who's gonna win tacos.
Yeah, that is basically who's gonna win.
That's how we're doing it now.
Tacos
We always
now.
have games where we like win
Bet tacos.
Yeah, we bet tacos. Such nerds.
Well, welcome to the Life First podcast where we bet tacos.
All right, so what's today's topic? What are we doing today?
Today's topic is going to be talking about how to upgrade starter decks. Yes, we're going to be talking about, and this might be basic for a lot of you guys, but you can share it with your friends, people who are just getting interested in starting the game. But this is going to be how you go from like just buying a starter deck to really starting to upgrade. You're not going full competitive, right? Like, yes, you could buy a starter deck, or you could even not buy a starter deck. You could just buy all the singles you want online and then go to a full-on competitive deck. You can use someone's sample deck lists if you want to. They don't have to be mine. Hellfire's got a really great listing of sample deck lists that you can use as options. But what if you're just starting the game, right? What if you're just starting the game, you want to play in a weekly and you want to be a little competitive, but you haven't jumped all in yet. You haven't been like, all right, I'm willing to spend $10 per secret rare here. How do you do that? How do you get the most out of it, right? And so we're going to talk a little bit about budgeting in the deck as well. Trying to make some budget builds, like things that are good in various things, budget options, as well as, what should you be doing when starting to do a starter deck? When Tiffany and I first started Wixoss, we didn't go all in.
No.
We actually only bought a single box to split between us and 2 starter decks, the Niji Sanji deck and the
Ancient Surprise.
And, we actually managed to do pretty well, considering, because we had to do a lot of like creative roundabout solutions for things.
Yeah, we weren't gonna go all in on a game that we were just trying out, but we didn't want to stick with just the starter decks. So we ended up, I think we did buy both at the same time.
Yep.
Where we bought both starter decks and a single box just to see what we could do with it.
0-0 meta, by the way.
Yeah. So, and yeah, you're right. We actually ended up not doing too bad with it.
No, Tiffany, you took first place in your second party, and it was a pretty crowded party. We had like 18.
I got second, I thought.
Okay,
I didn't
second,
get first. I did get to the round where they were like, "All right, this is deciding first and second," and I was like, "Wait, what?" Like,
Yeah, you got our first sleepy that we ever got.
Yeah, that's right. We got a
But we did it with a deck that we cobbled together based on like just what we had.
Yeah. So, which deck do you want to start with? Do you want to start with the 0-0s?
Sure, why not?
All right. Let's start with my favorite, Ancient Surprise.
Yeah. So Ancient Surprise, right, is going to be this deck where it's got At in it. Mm-hmm. And how does At play, like as a center?
For me, from what I remember, it's been a little bit, so please excuse me. But for me, she kind of feels like, big green energy. She likes to buff her Signies. She likes to Enter Charge. That's kind of what she does as her center. So
yeah, the way that I used to say it when we first were starting was she felt a lot like a linebacker, that she was like shouldering and pushing with very big and buff Signy and trying to like push her way to the finish line. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And her assists, you got Tawil and Umar. Tomer. Yeah, that's one. Tawil kind of is your typical, red aggressive removal type Signy. And then Umer, she likes to draw. She also likes to do sort of like field disruption or hand disruption for your opponent. And then the other Tawils kind of like to give buffs to your Signy. So either it'll be like plus this, remove that, give it Lancer, give it whatever. So that's kind of how it kind of rolls.
Yeah, and so since we're talking about the Elrig deck here, we should remind everyone that if you're getting your first starter pack, it comes with only one piece. You're allowed 2 pieces.
Yes.
So you should have a starter, or you should have a Elrig deck of 12 cards folding. Mm-hmm. And so the cool thing about these is the assists aren't terrible. Down is actually pretty okay. I prefer
Umer
clear,
down.
But Towel Bubbles is not very good.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that comes in the starter deck. I think you get Towel Screech and Towel Rainbow.
Oh, sorry, you do get Towel Rainbow. And Rainbow's
Rainbow's
okay.
interesting.
It's okay.
The whole like rainbow idea of Towel is very interesting. I don't know if it's the best fit for how they've constructed the starter deck.
The cool thing with the Elrig deck is usually, except for crazy team pieces or something, usually it's pretty cheap to buy some stuff from the Elrig. Like, as you saw when we did our crack back right just a second ago, right? I got 3 Elrig pieces, and Tiffany, you got 2. So they're pretty plentiful. Yeah,
like the regular Elrigs, they're very easy to get, and they're very cheap because they come in booster packs. Like they're not anything particularly rare. Usually the rarities only lie when you start getting like shiny things.
And if you want to take some advice here, and you need a 12th piece, right? You need the 12th part of your Elrig deck. You need that second piece. You can never really go wrong with Chime of the Blessed Key, and Xeno Cluster, and what's the other one? The one that I'm terrible at pronouncing.
Future Code?
No, not Future Code. That would be good for this deck.
Harmonic Call?
No. The colorless one. The one that draws you 1 and energizes 1. Oh,
the Kirun one?
Yeah, Kirun.
That's the team. I can't remember the name of the card.
I think it literally is Kirun.
Yeah, it's Kiruni or something like that. Andrew's looking it up.
Here it is. Yeah, there's a star in it. That's the only difference.
Oops, sorry. Kirururia.
Sure.
Sorry. Kirurira.
Yep, that one.
Why?
I don't know. It's probably an onomatopoeia.
Please don't come for me. I'm a native English speaker. English is my first and only language.
So you can use these ones because they're just pretty good in pretty much any deck, right? Chime is going to draw 3 cards, discard 2. So it's just good hand fixing. Same thing with the Kirikirum. And the Xenocluster is tech, good sideboard tech, basically, against various decks that pop up in the meta. So you could safely buy any of those 3 and stick it in a deck, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. So the theme of the original Ancient Surprise starter deck is this idea of like a rainbow deck, where you have things that are all different tones and all different colors. So there's 2 different multicolors, there's 3 different colors for your level 3s. You also get a spell called Polygenesis, which I actually don't hate.
No, I think it's good.
I think it's actually really great when you have Ancient Surprise.
Yeah.
So I think that one's fine. You just have to be mindful of, like, I just think it could be a little bit better. It's not bad. I think that this is true with all the starter decks that we're going to talk about. You just have to fix your Signy curve a little bit. Yeah,
that's true. They come in, the Signy curve is 12, 12, 12. As in there's 12 level 1s, 12 level 2s, 12 level 3s. That curve is wrong. It should generally be 16 level 1s, 8 level 2s, and 12 level 3s. And with 4 extra slots.
Yeah. And those are also including your guards, by the way, because those are level 1s.
Right. So, and then you should take your guards out of the deck, look at them, realize that they're amazing, give them a kiss, put them in sleeves, because you will use them in every deck that you ever will use.
Because remember, you're not building a 40 card deck, you're building a 36 card deck. So are there any changes to the Signies that you would make for Ancient Surprise?
Yeah, there's some standout cards here, right? Like the giraffe, who I'm not gonna squint my eyes into.
Camelopard.
Yeah, that one. Oh, guys, it's a camel, but it's a giraffe.
Shh, no rules.
Okay, that one's pretty good. Tobayel's good. Atalanta is pretty okay.
Yeah, I think that those are fine. I also think that
Water Buffalo and the
Koalala. Yeah, I think that those are a great fit. In particular, I like Camelopard because of its like multi-tribal inclination.
Yeah.
And I think it ends up working really well in this deck because of how Rainbow works and because of how Harmonic Call, sorry, like my voice is really dry. And because of how Harmonic Call works.
Harmonic Call is, by the way, very expensive in this deck, but if you pull it off, you will win the game.
Yeah, and that's why there's like a lot of Enercharge support from various Signies, and from like the life bursts on certain Signies.
We won't go into what you can do to upgrade this deck, just because I think what you should do, just take all of these as a list idea. You should look at sample deck lists that people are running and playing and winning with, and you should just start looking for cards that you can fit in there. I would say here's various cards that you could use to upgrade the deck, but they might not fit in your budget. You might not have opened them in your boxes that you've opened, right?
Or packs, yeah.
Your packs. So what I'm suggesting is instead look at what you have to fill, what holes you have to fill, and then start making the decisions based on that.
So what holes would you say are in Ancient Surprise?
Sure. So it's the ones that I didn't mention are good.
Okay.
But Sen no Ryuku, Slowlurious, Asalan Natural Crystal. I don't think those cards are very good.
I don't think that they fit too well in this deck either. And I think that once you kind of read over what your Larig deck is doing and what your pieces are doing, you'll kind of realize that like it doesn't really make much sense. It's a little bit of a especially for Ashlyn, Natural Crystal. It's dependent on being buffed, but I don't think that there's enough support for that to be pulled off. And then for Slow Loris, we've got as long as there are 3 more classes, yeah, it gets the buff off of that. But at level 2, it makes you pay 3 to gain Lancer for something that's 15,000 or more. So that's a little bit more late game dependent. Those two could be better. They could be better cards.
Yeah, and you probably have opened some of the better cards. I will say this, at least the unlike most card games, the starter decks here are 50% good. Like,
yeah,
they're
not
cards.
A bad starting place at all.
Yeah, and then if you were to like stretch that number to be like, well, I can't get all of the secret rares. Okay, cool. Then it's like 75% optimal. Like it's viable, 75% of it. There's some bad cards in it that you need to replace out, but not a ton. Mm-hmm. Moving over to Samba-ka.
All right.
Samba-ka is an interesting one. You start off with Liz as your center, and Liz's center. No offense to the VTuber Liz. Liz is not a good center. It's just not. If you play this deck as is, you will die with 1,000 cards in your hand. Like, it's great at drawing cards, and then it's terrible otherwise. Toko is really the one that you want to go with. Toko's centers are not very expensive, so you should be able to get a hold of them pretty cheaply. Once you do that, there's a lot of cards in here that aren't all that great, to be honest with you. Samba Carnival's good. Samba Carnival's fine. You want to add another piece in there. And then your cards here that are, I think, good. I'm the one who played a lot of Samba-ka at the beginning. The cards here that I think are good are, of course, Guard. But also you have Sarah, which is the multicolor card. I think that one's fine as well. You have Mayo, aka Little Girl with Uzis.
Yeah, Mao. Yeah, those are your multis. Those are pretty good staples, especially because this is just a dual colored deck, so you don't have to worry about diluting it like how Ancient Surprise had to with the two different multis.
Right. Ichigo is fine, and totally passable. It's a level 2 that draws you cards when it attacks. Cool. I actually like Ira. She's the one that gets guards back from your graveyard. I think that's pretty fine. And then the rest of it starts kind of going downhill. There's not a ton of great cards in the Samba-ka deck as is. What you're going to want to do, realistically, is grab Melissa. And you're going to want to grab... I can't remember the one card's name off the top of my head. Give me a second to look. But you're also going to want to grab Reina.
Yes.
Reina is a rare. She's a little bit more expensive because she is sort of the whole core of the deck. But if you grab Reina and you grab, as I shuffle through here, Fuyuki, which is a common, you will have a good core of the deck. From there, you can upgrade it to however much you'd like. You should know that the virtual Signy thing, you need about 28 virtual Signies to have the bare minimum number to hit your requirements on Toko and stuff like that. So you should be sticking to virtual Signy that you're throwing in there. But that's the core of the deck, and you're going to want to sort of build based on that.
Yeah. Yeah, that is the one thing about Samba-ka that might be a little difficult. It's just because we haven't had new virtual Signy printed since set 0-0.
The upside is this is kind of a weirdly safe investment because the deck's never going to really need much more upgrading as the years go on.
That's true.
You can put money into this and you'll have something to play weekly. This is, I think, actually a pretty good deck if you're like, I like to play weekly. I play it between Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic, so this is kind of a fun thing that I throw to the side that I'm not trying to spend a lot of money on.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Shall we move on to No Limit?
Sure.
All right. So the No Limit starter deck is actually pretty solid. Again, when we were looking at it, the only things that we were really fixing were the curve of the certain things, but it's actually kind of a nice little starter deck.
Yeah, No Limit is probably a good place to start.
Yeah, I mean, for those of you that have been listening to us all this time, you will know that we just feel like No Limit is one of the most solid decks that you can invest in.
Yeah, with a good shelf life too.
It's got a good shelf life.
It's going to stay relevant all the way up to set 4. We're currently at set 2.
So you've got some great staples in here. You've got Deafening Inferno, nice cheap removal.
Absolutely.
Lancelot, we love a Lancelot in this house. Sylvana Natural Crystal, Bronze Natural Crystal, for those dual colors. They're not bad, especially when you have like a level 2 10,000 multi. It's not a bad thing to have. It probably could be a little bit better. Volcanic Natural Crystal is great. It's just a red level 2 10,000. I'm a big fan of that one. And of course, you've got your Glory Grow, which is the double crush cannot be blocked obnoxious team piece. So let's see what they've got.
It's got Ramel too.
They've got Akino Rock and Akino Paper, and then Ray Flash Blade and Ray Empty Blade. What is your opinion on the starter Lyrigs that you're given?
I think they're all fine. I would change out Akino Peace.
Well, there's Rock and
Akino Peace. Akino Rock and Akino Peace.
Oh yeah, that's
I would change Akino Peace to Akino Bye Bye.
Okay.
And then the rays that you're given, they're all fine. I mean, I think actually Ray Empty Blade, that's the one that draws you 2, right?
Yeah, 2 cards and opponent discards 2 cards.
They're all fine.
Yeah, I think that those are fine.
Also, I think you forgot to mention Ramel is in this as well.
Yeah, but I'm kind of on the fence about that one.
I disagree.
Okay.
But here's why I disagree. So one of the Discord guys who have reached out to me, Skarada, he started his own channel too. Skarada has labeled something that I actually like a lot called the Trinity Red. And the Trinity Red includes Ramel, Lancelot, Burning Inferno. Deafening Inferno.
Deafening Inferno.
I know. I always say Burning Inferno. It's Deafening Inferno.
Yeah. That's yep.
And if you are if you're like, I'm a red aggro deck, you probably run these 3 cards, and they're all right here in this deck.
Yeah, already like ready to go. I might switch out the. I might switch out the. Well, I guess you don't have to. You could switch out to different multicolors, but these also seem fine to me. What about Letty Heavy Armed or Kagutsuchi?
I actually like Kagutsuchi. I think its life burst is pretty cool, and it does an effect that's pretty rare in red. Letty, though, should go. This is one of those ones that you could probably put Tobael in for and do a good replacement. Adamantha is okay. It's an okay card. It's not amazing. I would replace it eventually if I could. And then I think Hera is another good option to put in here.
Yeah, actually, I feel like a lot of people sleep on Hera, but it would fit very nicely in the No Limit.
So the No Limit deck comes probably with the most cards that you could do. You got to find your you got to find your second piece. I probably use Go to the Top.
Yeah, I would too.
And Go to the Top has a little bit of a price tag to it, but Elrig stuff that has a price tag to it is a little bit fine to spend your money on because you use it literally every game.
Yeah, it's a major effect. You should budget for that in your deck.
So if you're looking for a starter deck that will inevitably help you get to just getting into Wixoss, No Limit's a good one, unless you really don't like playing aggro, which there are people who don't.
Yeah, or you don't like, your typical vanilla magical girls. If that's not your thing, this isn't the deck for you. If you are a flavor person as well as a function person.
Yeah, I'll take Uchu as the next one.
Okay, let's do it.
Because I think I've played quite a bit of Uchu. So Uchu is your control deck, right? Uchu no Hajimari. And as such, you should be focusing on stalling out the game. It's a little difficult to play because it's going to require you to learn how to enter starve. And that is a kind of difficult concept that takes just a lot of games to really, really get an understanding on how to do it. As is, Nova Dirty is actually, like, all of the stuff here, except for maybe Nova Chopper in the Elrig deck, is pretty good. And then Bang Repeat. Bang Repeat is okay, but you could probably change it to Capo and do a lot better. And then after you do that, your Elrig deck is really solid. Happening Destruction is an awesome card. You only need to put an extra piece in there, but realistically, Uchu is one of those decks where you can throw any second piece in and it will be fine. Because it really only cares about its first piece, and then the other options are all okay. None of them are overwhelmingly amazing. So your Elrig deck is pretty well set. After that, you're going to go into this starter deck that basically is like, hello, we would like you to mill demons and then replay them, and that's not a good plan. It will eventually be an okay plan in set 4. When Devil's Carnival, the piece gets added, and you can add that, and then there are actually a fair amount of things in this deck that you would like to use at that point.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people be fans of Captain Hook.
It does a job, but I think it does a job better in set 4 when Devil's Carnival comes out. But you do get some standout things here. The standout things that you get are your multicolors. That's going to be the I've never actually said their names. Procron and Sirius. You get Guard, of course, and you get Random Drain. Now, Random Drain is an incredible card.
Or Random Bad, for those of you that prefer the rough translation.
The Random Drain is an incredible card that does everything that you want in this deck, right? You should look at Random Drain and think, how can I get other cards like Random Drain? It, on its life burst, will stop the opponent from attacking and then make them discard cards, and then if you play the face effect, it makes the opponent discard cards and you draw cards. This is all stuff that you want to be doing in Uchu. Here's where it gets a little sad. This is not one of those decks that you can really put together easily without some money cards. You really probably want to put four Fenrir in it.
Yeah.
And Fenrir has a price tag. I think currently they're going for about $12 each.
Ooh, that's expensive for Wixoss.
Yeah. So I mean, like, yeah, 12 times 4 is what, 48? So that's like a $50 upgrade to your deck.
Yeah, just for those cards alone.
The upside is that Fenrir is going to be used still today. So Fenrir doesn't have a real expiration date as a good investment.
It's also really annoying to play against as an opponent.
Right.
So, and that's kind of the theme of this deck is kind of opponent disruption, hand disruption, stuff like that. So it's not a bad investment. It seems to fit very well into this deck.
Yeah. And then the other thing that you can do is take these multicolored cards, right? The white green multicolors and the green blue multicolors, and you can shuffle them in. Those are commons. But the big thing is they have big powers, right? 5,000 power on the level 1, 10,000 power on the level 2, so they become walls. And it's hard for the opponent to smash through them.
Which also plays again into the whole stalling the game thing.
If you wanted a cheap thing to add as well, probably Chandelier is a good one. That's something that comes in actually the card jockey deck, weirdly enough. And Chandelier, because you're using random drain, will be a nightmare for your opponent to deal with.
Well, that's especially because if you have a single spell in your trash, it suddenly becomes, is it 13K?
13K.
Which is a gigantic wall. Like, not a lot of things can blast through that. But also, when it attacks a Signy, it doesn't go into the enter zone, it goes into the trash.
Yep.
So if you are enter starving your opponent, this is, God, it's a slap in the face.
Yeah, it goes hand in hand.
Ugh.
So
two-hand slap.
So that's something that you could cheaply build your deck around, is trying to wall and stall, maybe even freeze your opponents out.
That's another thing that I didn't even think of. You could buy 2 starter decks and kind of Frankenstein them to get the cards that you need for cheaper.
No Limit and Card Jockey does that really well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they cross each other really well.
And speaking of Card Jockey, why don't you take that one?
Okay, let me bring up the original deck list. Okay, so here we've got, it's an MC Lion Center as it comes in the starter deck. You've got Love It Scratch and DJ Love It Mix, as well as Wolf Q and Wolf Sync. Oh, it does come with Chandelier. How did I not remember that?
Because I took it from you immediately, I think.
How very dare... I mean, as good as that card is, it actually kind of doesn't fit with Card Jockey. Because I don't really see you trying to understarve your opponent very much. But also the whole idea behind Card Jockey is you're trying to get your endless punchline off, which I don't think you will ever want to not have. If you're running any sort of Card Jockey Larig, you'll probably always want to run endless punchline. And the whole idea of how you get there is by filtering your deck. So as good as Chandelier is, it doesn't exactly get you there. Because it's not really helping to filter your deck. And I would say, just like looking through this, other than Good Dig, this might be another one of those decks where you will have to probably do a little bit of shopping to really maximize it.
Yeah, luckily that shopping can include, and I'm not joking here, that shopping can include a second starter deck of No Limit. Like, you can take the No Limit starter deck, right? And you can start adding a lot of those red cards. Lancelot. You could start adding Tobayels if you really wanted to. You could add... Tobayel's in the Ancient Surprise deck. You could add Lancelot. You can add Deafening Inferno in there. You could even add Rommel if you really wanted to, although I don't think this deck is quite aggro enough to pull that off.
No, I don't think so either. I think that Haniel's a better fit.
And Haniel's got a little bit of a price tag to it as well. It's one of the more widely used level 1s. Mm-hmm. But it's also, again, like Fenrir, has a long-term investment. You can play that Haniel in a variety of decks for a while. Yeah,
I've seen a lot of people play it in their No Limit deck as well.
Yeah, I think Haniel is important to this deck.
Yeah, I think so too. Now, looking back through this F-Light code art, That's an interesting one. You might even be able to keep it if you're on a little bit of a budget. It says whenever this Signy attacks, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, reveal a spell from among them, and add it to your hand. Put the rest on the bottom in any order. This would be good if you're specifically looking for something like Good Dig,
Yeah.
or maybe if you want to splash a bit of red, like a Deafening Inferno.
Yeah.
So it's not bad.
No,
it's just it could be better. That's all.
Yeah, and Amazonius and Flopsy are also pretty okay cards.
Oh, I didn't realize that Flopsy also came in the original deck.
Yeah, she's a DJ.
She's so cute.
So you again, these aren't necessarily optimal, but they're viable. You can use them.
Yeah, you can use them.
I think it's really important though that we say you do take the VJ Wolf Q out and replace it with which is the one that intercharges stuff.
Laser. Let's see. So Q says to vanish target Signy on opponent's field with power 7,000 or more. So with that being your level 1 grow for Wolf, that would mean that you wouldn't grow until like turn 2.
Yeah.
Because your opponent's not going to have anything on there that's very big. No. So yeah, I would say that laser is probably the best way to go.
Yeah.
For your level 1 Wolf.
And again, you're going to want to focus on these filtering effects when you're trying to build stuff. So if you can spare Hanel, go for it. If you can spare Arcwane, I know it's expensive, go for it. But also Projection Map is another one. I don't think Projection Map is super expensive right now, but I could be wrong. It might be $10 each. This is one of those decks that, yeah, in order to really optimize it, you're going to need some more of the expensive cards. Mm-hmm. But you can just you can just Frankenstein no limit aggressive strategies to this type of deck and go a little bit more blind with your Endless Punchline, and you'll still be effective.
Yeah. Yeah, you can upgrade this one for cheap. Let's see, what else do we have? Musica.
Yeah, I can take that one. All right, so Musica is going to come with some pretty good options on your Elrig deck. It's the most important ones here are Madoka Float and Sanga Aerial, because Musica's ability is to bounce a level 1 Elrig, so you can replay them. And Float and Aerial are sort of the core of the deck.
Right.
With that, you can use... There's a bunch of different Sangas, and you can use any of them. You can use the one that's included here, and it'd be fine. You can use a bunch of different Madokas, and they'd be fine. There's various ones that are better than others. I personally prefer Strike and Madoka... Clap. But Dub is fine, and Shake is fine. You're getting Salvage the Future, which is fantastic. And then what you want to use as your second piece is really up to you. Salvage the Future is the important card here. So, the second piece is fine, whatever you want to use. So you don't have to change much in the Elrig deck, which is good, We have No Better Bets.
Nobody Bets.
Which is my pet card.
Your pet card?
Yeah.
Why is it your pet card?
Because she's my pet bear, I guess. I don't know.
We call her Weird Bear because she does things that we've really never seen other cards do before.
Yeah.
So you get a cute little like miniature combo with Nobody Bets and Gap. We call it the Bear Gap combo.
Yeah. And what that excels in is it costs a lot of enter, so it's not great, but it does the job. Which is
cute.
It closes lanes, right?
Yeah.
The opponent opens up some lanes, and then suddenly you're lane filled in, and they're like, well, hold on, I used removal. You're like, nope, I didn't do that.
Yep.
And so you also get probably my favorite card of all
Helium
time.
Natural Planet. Helium Natural Planet. When this Signy is vanished outside of battle, down target Lurig on your opponent's field.
You get Anna as well. Anna's very good. Cut it down to 2 immediately. You should not be playing 4 Annas. They have a rise cost, which means that you're currently playing basically 4 spells plus 4 spells. So you're playing 8 spells. It's too many things that'll go wrong.
Yeah, it thins out your Signy pool dramatically when you have 4 of those in there.
Yeah. And then you have a bunch of different multicolored Signy. The deck actually likes multicolored Signy. You could probably replace Weird Bear and Gap with more multicolored Signy if you really want to, and you'd be fine with it. It likes its mid-range beefy walls. And then Iconis is actually kind of a weird card, but a good card, in the fact that it can remove Signy on your opponent's turn. And you can catch a lot of people by surprise with that. Sometimes people just don't read the card and attack into it, and you're like, okay, kill it, kind of thing, which is great.
How do you feel about this other natural element that we have?
Yi?
Yeah.
The older brother of He.
Yeah, I apologize. I don't know that one off of the periodic table, so please let me know what that is in the comment section down below.
It's the older brother of He. G comes before H.
It's got an enter, a cost of 3 anything, and it says if the cards put into the trash to pay for this cost consisted of 3 or more colors, vanish target Signy in your opponent's field with 12,000 or more. Now, with as much multicolors as you have in here, this probably would not be too difficult to pay for.
No. It actually has a pretty good life burst too, which I believe vanishes and ups or intercharges you.
Vanish upped or intercharge 1.
Yeah, I did that from memory.
Good job.
I've used it in Uchu before.
Yeah, that's right. You've splashed a little bit of green there.
It does the job. It's not amazing. You got to remember that level 3s in black basically all say spend 1 enter, remove a Signy, right? So this says spend 3 enter, remove a Signy, so it's not as good. But those things in black that say spend 1 enter and remove a Signy cost more money usually. If you could get Landling type Dre, you should.
Is that one a more expensive one as well?
Yeah. All the team Signy are, but that's a pretty safe investment for this deck. But there are many level 3s that are in black now from set 2, set 1, set 3, that you will be able to basically say, I'm a level 3. When I come into play, I remove a Signy, and they cost less than Guy does.
Do you think Reno would be a good fit for this deck as well?
You could. See, that's the thing, too, is that some people will take some of the virtual Signy tech and throw it in there. The core that I said, Melissa, Reyna.
Yeah. Melissa
Yuki.
is like your black staple, really.
Yeah. You can throw those in there and in here, and they would do the job. Yes.
How do you feel about Enervating Melody?
I like Enervating Melody. The only issue is that inevitably, as you upgrade this deck, the more and more you're like, oh, I just have Signy that do this job, and you don't need Enervating Melody. But here's the thing, right? When we were going through a bit of a weird time at Wixoss where we didn't put enough money into it yet to like really have the best decks, there was also a stretch where I won't mention the store's name here because I don't want to throw shade too hard, but it took literal months for my cards to get here that I ordered, and I did a huge Uchu upgrade. Yeah,
you like couldn't play
and I could not play them for like 5 parties.
Yeah, it was rough.
Because again, it was like 3 local parties and then 2 local parties the next month. It sucked. And the way that I played instead, and I still got pretty okay results, was I played the starter deck. Because it needed
our minor box
it needed
upgrades.
the least amount of upgrades.
Yeah,
because you can basically, like I said, you can basically take those multicolors, throw them in there, and they'll still do a job.
Yeah, you also switched out to No Limit because No Limit was the other one that you had the least amount of upgrades to do.
Yeah, inevitably I did switch from this to No Limit, but that was before I knew No Limit took even less upgrades. And we needed a second No Limit anyways to upgrade. At that point, we were kind of entrenched into the game, and we were like, let's make a third deck that we can keep around so that if new players want to borrow a deck from us, they could.
Yeah.
And we were like, yeah, well, let's just invest in this No Limit. That way I also have a deck that I can play in the meantime while I'm still literally waiting for my cards to show up.
That was really brutal.
And then after I finished the fifth party...
It literally came in.
It was at the door.
It was like that day. Like we came home and like your box was at the door and you were like, "Well, at least it's here now."
God, and it was like it's like that phrase that Irish phrase like if you had brains you'd be dangerous. You know, like if I had cards I'd be dangerous. And I was like not getting good placements all that much. I was getting middling placements and making exceptional plays with terrible cards. And then I had good cards, and I played them, and then suddenly I was getting like first and second place, and it was like, oh no.
Yeah.
He's upgraded.
All right. Are there any other cards that you want to mention that might just be worth the investment no matter what deck you are playing?
Yeah, Trinity Red's a good one. Mm-hmm. If you're doing red,
That might be worth it for Love It as well.
Yeah.
If you decide to switch up your
Absolutely.
centers. Always
and-
invest in your servants.
Yeah, servants are always good. You should
Never
pick,
have
you
enough.
should pick your favorite art and go with it.
Yeah.
And then let's see, in blue, I like He a lot, and I'm not making a joke there. I genuinely like He. Helium natural planet.
Thank you.
And some freeze stuff is okay. If you want to invest in a freeze package, you just need to know that when you're investing in a freeze package, you need to either be freeze or not freeze.
Yeah, I agree. I think that splashing the freeze, it's nice. It works sometimes. It's much better if you make it a main focus of your deck.
Yeah, Random Drain and Trouble are okay cards to have in your blue repertoire. Mm-hmm. As far as white goes, I think Good Dig is just an okay spell to have in your repertoire.
Yeah, it can feel a little expensive with one white, one anything, but it digs 7.
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
huge.
dig. It's a deep dig.
And then, as far as white stuff goes, Hanel's really good. Zhao Yun is really good. Again,
Oh, yeah.
these are the ones that cost a little bit of money. I think Zhao Yun is only like $2 though each right now.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, it's a rare, not a secret rare.
Yeah.
And I think Hanel is also a rare, so it might be like $6 right now.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Yeah, it's a good one. It really, like, if you want a good solid level 1 wall that can't be removed via Rommel or Lancelot,
Yeah.
Zhao Yun's your go-to.
Mm-hmm. And then in black, a lot of
Melissa.
them. Well, Melissa's good if you're in a virtual deck, but not if you're not in a virtual deck.
Never mind. I love you, Melissa.
Don't Google that. The black's a little weird because there's a lot that are just rares or secret rares that you should be running, and it's all top heavy stuff. But I guess there's Bal is the mill 3 has a life burst. It's a 3000 level 1. That one's a fine one. And then let's think here. In green, Flopsy's pretty okay.
Yeah, Flopsy's okay.
I'm trying to think of non-expensive cards here. It's green's awkward, man. Green's got not so much going for it right now. Parajulius is probably a good thing to have in the future.
Yeah, I don't think that one's bad either.
Yeah. And those are some cheap pickups there. And then I cannot stress this enough. Right? I didn't skip any colors. I cannot stress this enough. Multicolors are all great all the time.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like especially when you're first starting out, they fill out gaps. Your level 1 and your level 2 gaps. They just fill them out. Mm-hmm. They're never bad. They're genuinely good Signy because they are buff. Which makes
a 5,000 level 1 and a 10,000 level 2
right.
that gives you
kill pretty much every level 2 and level 1 if you're aggressive, or hold off a lot of aggression against you as a wall. Mm-hmm. Because the other things, like for example, Lancelot's 5,000 level 2, so it'll hold things off.
Yeah, I totally agree. The multis are great too. They're nice to put out there during if you can set up a catch-22 for your opponent. They're nice to put out there because they're like, well, you can either remove this other thing that has a lot of things going on with it, or you can remove this multicolor and essentially give me 2 enter.
Yeah, Falcolor is also a good one. Kiyosumi, Falcolor's in green. Sorry, Falcolor's in blue. Kiyosumi's in green. Just remembered those are pretty good ones at common, I think. So yeah, there's decent commons that you can throw into your deck and have some functional deck and cheap rares, because the rares are not expensive in this game. They're like 50 cents.
Yeah, they're not expensive. And that's something else to be said is we're telling you these things because we feel like some of these are the best choices. But that said, you're more than welcome to try out your own stuff. You don't have to have shiny secret rares to win a game. Like, Wixoss is one of those games where, it certainly helps. Don't get me wrong. But it's not something that you necessarily need to feel like, oh, I can't play if I don't have this.
I'm playing Uchu, and I'm thrashing people with a chandelier, which I got out of a starter deck.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's and Lancelot, arguably one of the best cards in Wixoss right now, starter deck.
Yeah. So, That said, and you know what? The starter decks realistically are not that expensive either.
We've seen people take starter decks and win parties.
Yeah, straight up. Like we've gone into parties and
hit
and
the
somebody
right
will
amount
be
of-
like, "Oh, I don't know this game. Let me spend I don't even know how much they are.
$12.
$12 on this, either like a no limit or an Uchu or whatever, and just like get like anywhere but get like top 5.
Yeah, and because you know what, life bursts will do it for you.
Life bursts will do it for you. Wixoss podcast.
Get a good string of life bursts. You're still likely to win.
Yeah.
And honestly, guys, you know what you could do to really help out, aside from letting Tiffany and I know who had the best pack, is comment down below cards that you used when you were first starting, and that you opened in a box and helped you out, or you were using clever combo of commons that you think could help other people out as well.
Yeah, I would love to know. Like I said, I say this almost every podcast now, is that variety is the spice of Wixoss. And, the more creative people get with these decks, the more interesting of a meta we have. And I always think it's fun to kind of throw off your opponents with what is not a typical, like, deck list type deck.
Totally.
So let us know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for listening. Do you have any closing thoughts, Andrew?
No.
All right. May you always flip a life burst, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.